We're on, Bear.
Good evening again, Barnes.
How are you?
I'm Bear.
Yeah, I'm Barnes.
It's been such a long time.
Yeah, I know.
And it's been such a long time that you've grown a beard during the last time I saw you.
I know, it's shocking, isn't it? I'm in protest that if I didn't get another podcast, I'd grow a beard.
We were beginning to wonder whether the current producer had done a runner and had decided that we weren't up to his standards and wasn't going to do any more podcasts.
Well, there's lots of rumours flying around about the current producer. But anyway, I didn't like our trial separation. Bear, it didn't work for me.
And as I said to you earlier, I was not liking the fact that I was walking down the high street and people weren't recognising who I was.
I can tell you a funny story about that, though, quickly. On Saturday, obviously there's no cricket, and there was a surprise chap turned up from New Zealand. So we... boys go into town for a bite to eat. I park the car, and as I'm walking through the Blue Boar, there's some guys there from, I think, Whitney Swifts or Whitney Mills and Minster, taking a set of cricket plastic stuff, and they're having a game in the courtyard in the Blue Boar. Good. So I stopped and said hello to one or two that I knew, and a guy that I didn't, that had clearly been on the Terps all day, challenged me and said, "You go and have a bat, mate, you know what you're doing." So I went, he went, "Well, after you slated me on your commentary," and I was thinking, "Oh no, did I?" Anyway, turns out I didn't, and he was winding me up, but he was a bit frisky.
It was scary for a while.
I
can understand how you're intimidated.
But that's the first time I've been recognised for being an international podcaster.
Well, why don't you ask me what we've got on tonight's show, Barnes?
Bear, what have we got on tonight's show?
Well, funny you should ask that. In a packed show.
Packed show tonight, Barnes.
We've got some sad news to start. We'll deal with that in a minute. Then we're going to talk about our hats. Looks like a very nice hat. We're not going to go through every league result of every team and all the things that have been going cricket-wise since we last saw you, because it would take
3 years ago.
It's quite a long time. We've got some current cricketing issues that we want to go through that are sort of high profile at the moment. Now, we were going to try and get Dave the Pro on as our guest, so we've been trying to get him on for some time. But actually, it's the first day of cricket week, and we have an Aussie team playing against us, and we've got a couple of Aussie guests from that Aussie team are going to come.
They're trying to break in, typical convicts, you can't get him in.
And one of them was actually in or about the long room when it all kicked off at Lord's. So he's going to be very interesting to talk to. Yes. And you're going to give him some questions, which I guess you might have to tailor, since it's not Dave the Pro that you thought it was going to be. Then, as usual, I'll give you some questions.
Which would be nice.
And then I thought... the current Mrs. Bear had a great idea the other day after our last podcast. So we have a regular spot. We won't do it tonight because we haven't prepared it. But when people get FIFA or 100, they could come in and perhaps very briefly be congratulated and tell us very briefly about their FIFA or their 100.
That's a brilliant idea from the current Mrs. Bear.
Fantastic idea.
Is she hoping that Freddie might be on there for his bowling?
Or long stop keeping or something like that. Yes, I don't know. And then we'll talk about when our next podcast is going to be, probably sometime in 2024. It's got two stages to its life cycle, really.
Right.
The first stage was that I went on a stag weekend to Portugal, and on that stag weekend to Portugal, I felt that I should be wearing a Portuguese hat. And then I was brought 3 pina coladas that all had feathers in them, and I thought that the feathers would look nice in the pina colada hat. Anyway, so this was my tour hat. Then, fast forward to playing at Amersham away, Gary Brock. Comes up to me and says, "Bear, it's a bit embarrassing, but I've forgotten my white, wide-brimmed hat." Now, we all know that Gary Brock doesn't look the same without his white, wide-brimmed hat. And he said, "Can I borrow one of your hats? Have you got any?" And I said, "You have seen the boot of my car, haven't you?" And I lifted it up, and there are Panamas, there are red fezzes, there are several baseball hats. And he reached in and picked this out.
Did he?
Whereupon he wore this all day long at Amersham. So much so that Loz, embarrassed that his father was wearing such a flamboyantly bad hat, came and tried to give him one of his hats. And Gary turned him away and said, "No, I'm going to wear Bear's hat. I think it suits me." So this is Gary Brock's adopted hat. And what about yours, Barnes?
I'm still quite confused why Gary chose that. It did bring us luck.
Honestly, there was an Oxford Downs hat in there. There was a couple of Brasenose Strollers hats. There were some fairly dull hats. There was the hat Andrew Strauss's wife's red hat.
Yes, red for Ruth. Yeah.
All of those hats were in there. But he went straight in and picked this one out straight away.
Astonishing.
It was incredible.
Astonishing. But it did bring us luck because we won over there.
It did bring us luck, and Gary lit up the far touchline, which was getting a bit gloomy, and we could see him in the far distance wearing his pink hat.
With his feather.
Anyway, tell me about your
Well,
hat
I'm sort of running out of hats back, so I don't have as many as you. But this, Will brought back from New Zealand when he went over there as a young cricketer. And the reason why I walked today, because obviously Becky Boy is now here after 5 years of playing for the club, and Cockles and Eric, the head of cricket, have all probably got the same cap.
Yep.
So that's it. It's not flamboyant.
It's a very professional looking hat, unlike mine, which makes me look like a bit of an idiot. But
you carry it off well.
Well, I do the idiot very well.
Yeah,
don't
you
I?
do. I'm a bit upset you haven't got your full pink regalias from yesterday when we were renamed Ken and Barbie.
I know. We will revisit that later on tonight. Don't you worry. So in the meantime, Barnes, obviously in the last 4.5 seasons since we had a podcast, there's been a bit of cricket.
Yes, a little bit.
Would you like to just give us a very brief précis of the important bits that have been happening?
I will whiz through this as quickly as I can. So first team, we're currently now second with 40 points behind Brickhill. Played 12, won 6, lost 1, drawn 1. We've lost 4 to the rain already.
It's tragic.
It's just nuts. And I think Frankie Beans, who's been at the club for many, many years, says it's the first time that two Saturdays on the trot there's not been a ball bowled in the first team, which is a bit of a nightmare for us. But Darrow's Cross are only 19 points behind us, so the pressure's on. The boys got to keep delivering, but we seem to be on a bit of a run, which is good. Leading run scorers Will, 227, an average of 25. Good. Head bowler, obviously, or the leading bowler, is Dave the Pro.
DTP.
Should be on here, but he's
Dave
bowled
the Pro was asked to come on tonight, but he's shy. We're going to winkle him out of his shell later on.
Very, very shy. But he's taken 23 wickets at an average of 11.
23 wickets. Wards must have taken quite a few as well.
Yeah, right. I didn't put that down. So Dave has bowled 107 overs, 28 maidens, 23 for 270 runs.
Fantastic. So that's what you want from your pro, isn't it?
Yeah, so his run rate is 2.5. Second team, they're languishing in 8th, but they've had a couple of wins on the trot, which is really, really important.
They've turned it round in the second term.
Yes, they have. So that's good. We've just gone. We're third from bottom, so we've gone above Shippo, which is really important. I think we need to get up and now above Bledlow.
Yep.
So the leading run scorer is Kirtley. He's got 303 runs of an average of 30. Highest score 121, and Waz has taken 24 wickets at an average of 13.7, and his best of 5 for 46.
Waz is proving to be almost unplayable.
He took 6 for 4 in a T20 last Tuesday away as well, so that's good. So third team, they're in Div 5C. They're currently sitting second, which is a great effort because they are the only third team in that division. The rest are first teams, which is fantastic. So they've won 7 of their 12.
So most of the top 3 teams are always playing against first teams.
Yeah, they are, which is great. So Woods' top scorer is 198, an average of 33.
Woodsy never loses it, does he? Evergreen.
Stevie Roberts, who's been flipping between the 3s and the 4s, is top wicket taker at the minute with 22 wickets, an average of 4.5.
Yes, good old Stevie.
Best 6 for 19.
And he looked very fine as an umpire, showing glimpses of his future career yesterday.
Yeah, trigger
Stevie
happy.
Roberts umpire. Watch, you saw it here first.
Trigger happy. I also want to mention Pete Bellow's got 19 wickets at an average of 11.5. His best figures are 6 for 15. Alfie Lish, young Alfie, 17 wickets at an average of 13.
Lovely to see Listy Junior in action yesterday.
13.06. His best figures are 4 for 11.
Unbelievable.
Outstanding. Fourth team, top of the league, Div 8B. 221 points, 26 points above Ensham 2s, which is brilliant. They won 7 for 9 with 2 draws. Slightly less teams in that league, which is good. So Neil Wilson's top run scorer, 265 with an average of 33. Clive Whitby is the leading wicket. Sorry, he's second highest run scorer, 100. Got an average of 76, 4 not outs.
That's nearly as good as your average.
Well, no. 76 would be the combined total of all my runs since I started playing. Craig Foster, some Aussie, which is bizarre that we let Aussies play. Even we had 11 of them here today. It's taken 9 wickets, an average of 18. Ollie Rich has taken 9 wickets at an average of 13, and Bobby Wakely has taken 8 wickets at an average of 18, which is brilliant. And we would have put a 5th team out on Saturday.
So this Saturday, for the first time ever, we got a memo saying all 5 games have been rained off.
Yes.
And I can guarantee that's never happened in the history of Oxford Downs Cricket Club before.
You're very right. You're a very clever boy.
A first happened on Saturday.
You should be an accountant.
Isn't it magnificent that we're running 5 teams?
Amazing.
It's just brilliant.
And there's probably some cricketers that aren't getting a game of cricket. So we had 55 cricketers out on Saturday. Maybe this man here can take some credit.
Master in charge of cricket has been tireless in his recruiting. We ought to point out we've got these wonderful things for our cricket week as well, where we can give 4s and 6s. Or 9s
and 6s, And before we move on, I'll sign that for you before I leave.
He's going to sign. We'll sign this for the viewer, and we'll raffle it up later on.
You said about Eric's tireless work, the work and the commitment and effort he put in on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week for cricket was unbelievable. Every time I turned my telly on, he was on.
He's tireless.
Literally unbelievable.
So, so before we get our guest in, we've got some current issues we probably ought to discuss.
Yeah.
Let's start with Johnny Bairstow run out.
Yeah.
And what are your views on the Johnny Bairstow?
He was out.
Yes. And basically he was a little bit dozy.
Yes.
And would you have called him back?
Don't know. I have a different view on cricket than everybody else. Cricket wasn't my number one sport, so I'm a bit more relaxed about it. But I think the officials got that right, and the start catch right the night before.
I think the start sliding all the way on the floor.
Yeah.
That is just a fact. It's hit the floor and it's not out.
And the best thing about it was, I think, as Rudy Kurtzen was the fourth official or whatever he is upstairs. He came out in the morning, live interview with Asses, and explained exactly why. Yes, he's taken the catch, but in the movement he was not in control of his body. Therefore, it's not out. Let's move on and get on with it.
I think so, and I think everyone makes a bit of a joke about it now, but actually, at least Johnny's thinking about it every single ball now. It's not going to happen ever again.
Exactly.
Is it?
Yeah.
So that's great news. Rain to the rescue. All I would say about Rain to the rescue is it's saved us enough times over the years. I don't think we can. There's a lot of moaning and grumbling going on Radio 5 Live this morning about whether there should be an extra day for test matches and things like that. Let's just move on. It's rained for 2 days. It's Manchester.
Yeah.
There's not another test match in Manchester for 2 years, so the sun will probably shine wherever it is.
I think it's a good reason never to go back to Manchester.
Well, it rains too much.
I did see a fantastic thing on Twitter from the Barmy Army where somebody had cleverly drawn a massive toilet seat above Old Trafford, and if they'd put the lid down, we'd have got 2 games, 2 days of cricket.
Would there be any chance from Liverpool?
No, mate, we don't play cricket over there. Yeah, and I think you're right, because everyone's ringing in, listen to TalkSport 5 Live this morning, we should do this, we should do that, da-di-da-di-da. Get on with it.
You know, how many times have you been in a cricket situation where the game's not been going your way and you see this big black cloud coming over and you're thinking, oh yes, please hit us, and then it just skirts around the outside and you go, damn. Dave the Pro's arrived.
Dave the Pro's. Now we've got 14
We've got
guests.
so many guests. This might be the longest ever podcast viewer. Anyway, the final thing is, let's have a quick chat about Bazball.
Yeah.
We're all in favour of Bazball generally, but Bazball with a slight bit of decorum when required. Or just full out Bazball?
I think if you're going to put the boys in that mindset about positivity and this is how we're going to play this, I don't think you can switch it on and off. You've either got to be ballsy and do it 24/7 or not. And as cricket fans, if you accept that's what we're going to do, if we won 11 tests out of 12, it's great. And then you lose 2 against the best test team in the world. Just pull your pants up and get on with it.
And they were marginals, weren't they? It wasn't. We didn't actually get.
It's just fantastic.
It's fantastic. It's been the best series to watch up until the rain in Manchester. It's been incredible.
It's just.
I'd say it was more exciting than 2005.
Yeah, it's a different game, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but it's just been full on.
Brilliant.
It's been brilliant.
So one thing I did enjoy was watching the Aussies go a little bit twitchy bum.
They didn't. They looked, dare I say it, clueless.
Dare
I say the Aussies look clueless as we're being photographed by an Aussie from behind the current producers.
Surrounding us.
But it's good to see because we've looked clueless enough times over the years against the Aussies, haven't we?
Yeah, they looked a bit vulnerable for the first time, and I thought it was great. But there we go. Then
we just need to hammer it home at the Oval now. 2-2, honours even.
Yeah, I think so. And
let's face it, we have to remind the Aussies that it's the faker that they take back anyway. The real one stays in the long Lords.
Yeah, or bring them back to Oxfordshire and then have a game of Aunt Sally to the side or something like that. That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it?
Okay, so I think we're probably ready. Do we know where Stu Stockdale is?
There he is.
Stu's here, so we're going to.
This is the surprise
is going to make.
I've warmed the seat up for him.
So we have a very, very special guest here, viewer. We only have one viewer, Stu, so don't get too excited. And our viewer. So we have Stu Stockdale. Welcome, Stu.
Thank you very much.
And you need to talk into that. That's fine. So Stu, let me just give you a bit of background about Stu. Stu is clearly an Australian. And he's also a member of the MCG, which means that if he's a well-behaved boy, he gets reciprocal arrangements with the MCC.
Correct.
Which means that Stu's got some insights into what went on in the long room at Lord's on that dreaded Sunday. I'd gone home because I'd done my misbehaving on the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Anyway, so Stu, would you like to just very briefly tell us why you're here? Why are you sitting
Before
in between?
you start, Stu, do you have a problem getting home, Bear from Lord's?
What? I just don't go.
No. Did you lose your car keys?
I did lose my keys. I'll tell you, very quickly, I'll tell you what happened. I knew I'd put my car keys in my bag, and when I rushed back to my hotel to get them, I couldn't find them. So I tipped everything up, couldn't find them, told Freddie to go and tip everything up, he couldn't find them. Eventually decided we couldn't find them, and Mrs. Bear had to meet us at Haddenham train station with a spare set of car keys, where I collected them, went back, got my car and drove it home. Only to find 2 days later that they were indeed in the bag, but under a secret compartment flap that neither Freddie Bear nor I had found. So the whole thing was a complete fiasco and very unstressful. Anyway, so I do have a little bit of trouble getting back from Lord's. Thank you, Barnes, for bringing that up. Anyway, back to Stu. Stu, would you like to tell us why you're sitting in between?
Time's up now.
Why you're sitting in between the two most famous broadcasters this side of Melbourne?
I think you could say I've come to dislike Melbourne winters.
Yeah.
So
you've come here for the summer.
Yeah. Well,
how's that working for you?
It is warmer. It's 10 degrees in Melbourne. It's 20 degrees here. So I'm in good spot. But I like my cricket. I love AFL football too. So it's a hard act to take me out of Melbourne. But cricket, if I had to choose one sport, as you do these days, you can't be multifaceted, I would possibly pick cricket.
So is that because the shorts are too tight in AFL?
But they play.
I played more games of football than I have cricket.
Is that why you've got a funny
AFL
voice, is it?
on the MCG. So they take out this cricket square, drop in an AFL bit.
Yes.
And then when the AFL season finishes, they take out the AFL bit and stick the square back in.
Because the AFL bit's just normal.
Right.
It's called grass.
Yes.
Is it?
It's just the whole ground is similar. But with cricket, and I've been lucky enough. I've played in the MCG about 20 times, and
I get it.
The drop-in wickets, they were a problem initially, but they've now worked it out. The scientists got involved, the politicians got out of it, and we now.
So you played cricket or AFL or both on MCG?
Both.
Both. Fantastic.
Yes,
Have you played both?
But I haven't played football in the MCG. I've played about 20 games of cricket.
You
Did you get some runs?
Yes.
Did you get some runs?
Yes.
How many?
Best top score's 43.
Well batted. How were you out, Mr. Straight One?
Not out.
Not out.
Oh, Red Inca. Red Inca.
Red Inca. Very good to hear.
My famous thing I'll never forget. I was asked to open the bowling after an international day-night game where they used the white ball, and the sight screens were still covered in black cloth.
Brilliant.
And I had never seen a white ball in my hand, and they said, "You open the bowling," and I was petrified that it wouldn't come out. But it came out, and it moved.
And you swung it both ways.
And it moved, and we're playing the President's 11, and I'm in the non-President's 11, and I got two of the President's top batsmen out.
Well bowled, Stu.
You're an all-rounder,
You are a good all-rounder.
And I got taken off. And I said, why? They said, you've ruined the game.
No.
Because you're not
Yeah, you
supposed to
can't be
beat
doing
the
that.
President's 11.
You can't be doing. But I've never been to the MCG, but it must be a sensational place to see full. I mean, it was 100,000 people there.
Yeah, 100,007 is the official.
100,007. Or if I'm there, 100,006.
But somehow they squeeze. But that's the official number of designated seating and a few standing room. Obviously, they could squeeze more in if people were in the bar, in the lounges.
Amazing. So why are you over here? Obviously, the Aussies are here, so you're touring.
Well, it was multi-factored. Canterbury Cricket Club from Melbourne, who have toured here 3 or 4 times before, asked me if I could again organise a tour, arrange the accommodation and fixtures. And I said yes. When you want to come? They said next year. I said, you usually don't want to go in an Ashes year. They said, no, well, we want to do it next year because COVID upset previous arrangements.
Yeah.
So it was a double header. Melbourne Cricket Club were coming over here. Canterbury were coming. We split the dates so they didn't clash. So I initially arrived here to play for Melbourne Cricket Club, and then I had a break for Lords, and then I got selected in a private 11 to play in Wales for a week, and then came back here to join my Canterbury colleagues.
How was Wales? Was it wet?
It was actually good. We played every game.
You did well.
And it was warm. I was surprised.
Wet and warm in Wales.
Well, I
a few spots
I had
like
to
that.
wear my sun hat.
Really?
And sun cream.
You can't be too careful.
So seriously, I was surprised. I was expecting the worst, but we played way out west at St David's.
Oh yes.
And then at Daffin, but I think it's called the Lenny or something like that.
Don't know.
I'm not good with my L's and my F's.
Talk to my son. He's at Cardiff.
Anyway,
He speaks well.
Great experience. I'd played in Wales before, but many years ago.
So how many days have you been here, and how many days in total will you be in the...
I arrived here on the 24th of June, so I've been here for 4 weeks.
Okay, and when are you going back?
when I get deported.
Okay, we won't be long.
Yeah. No,
By the way, we're starting that again.
Yeah. I leave, I think, on the 8th of August to go to Thailand to play, to play cricket for the Melbourne Cricket Club against the Royal Sports Club of Bangkok.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And are you a little bit upset? I've been noticing on when I haven't been at the grounds where the Australian fans have been stuck. You've been stuck in some very, very high places, little pockets of yellow in some very high places, as if they're trying to get them out of the way. How do you feel about that?
Well, there's segregation still going on.
It's still going on. Yes,
yeah.
Quite right. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, of course. So anyway, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. You, being a reciprocal member of the MCC and MCG, you're entitled to go into the pavilion.
Yes.
And obviously, it did kick off slightly in the pavilion after the Bairstow run-out incident. And you've got a bit of a story to say about your feelings about that.
I was never threatened, but I felt very uncomfortable in the members because the whole crowd, the 30,000 people there, they were acting as one. And I love British anthems and the way you can get a crowd together and to sing, but they weren't singing pleasantries.
No.
And it was...
it was very unlordslike. It was more like the Eric Hollis stand, wasn't it?
I could understand if it was out in the Edrich stand and etc. But this was right around the ground, and the members were right in it. And when I was in the long room, I felt this air of discomfort. I thought I'd actually prefer to be back in my seat.
If it's any consolation to you, those members have been suspended, and there's been a big hoo-ha about it. But I suspect they won't be going in there again.
Let's hope not.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't happen there. You have to. It's a sort of bastion of old-fashioned cricket respectability, isn't it?
Yeah, should be.
And it was bad behaviour, especially as we've already established that actually it was Johnny's fault, and he was out.
Yeah.
So that was.
When you started to say that you were feeling uncomfortable, I thought you'd left your AFL shorts on.
No, it was...
That'd have gone down well in the
so
long room.
you were basically, when it all happened, you've gone back to your seats at the top of the Edridge or the Compton or whatever.
No, I stayed in the members. I had a seat upstairs.
At the top of the pavilion.
And I was greeted very warmly by the people either side of me.
Yeah.
They shared their wine with me.
Did they?
Yeah, BYO wine.
Was it Australian wine?
It's a mixture. The guy on my left had South American wine, and there was South African wine. Look, everybody was sharing wine with me, as if they wanted to get me, legless and fall over.
Oh, that's terrible. That never happens.
Yeah.
But it's great to have you over here. And your highlight of the tour so far?
Honourable draw at South Oxford.
I thought you'd say 2 days of rain in Manchester.
Yeah. Right. So one of the problems coming on here is that you get interrogated by Barnes with some preset questions. Are you prepared to take those on board?
Yes, Your Honour.
Okay.
Quick fire. First thing that comes into your
First
head.
thing that comes into your mind.
Right, I've got to make some of these
Keep
up.
it clean, please, Stu.
Who's the best Aussie sportsman, rugby, cricket or AFA, in your mind?
History or current?
History.
Yes, Betty. I was going to say Betty Cuthbert. I'll pick a lady. I think Kathy Freeman. The most amazing minute of my life watching sport.
Were you there?
No, I was watching TV.
You chasing her, rather.
I had the best seat in the house.
Going like the clappers. First cricket in memory.
Playing on the school oval, junior school oval, in front of the Prime Minister at Menzies, 1959.
That's very good. Favourite singer?
George, Peter, John, Henry, the Beatles.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them. If you were on death row, what would be your last 3-course meal?
3-course meal. Salt and pepper calamari, a dozen oysters, natural, salt and pepper calamari, and rare fillet steak, so long as I can have it with a bottle of Grange.
How rare? Just slightly shown. Or if you've got it, does it still go
A
move?
tiny bit of pink mixed with the blue.
There we go, very good.
Hot English mustard.
Yes. And is that Aussie beef or English beef?
Aussie.
Controversial.
Bat or bowl? What do you prefer to do?
Bat now.
Favourite position?
Batting 3.
Boring.
That was your big chance.
Yeah,
Stu.
you're going to Bangkok, you're going to Thailand
That
as
was
well.
your big chance, you blew it.
You need to up your game. Liverpool or Arsenal?
Liverpool.
Yeah!
No, Stu.
There's another one there. Good,
Okay.
Stu.
Well, thank you
Get
so
this-
much for coming, Stu. It's been a great interview, and I'm afraid we're going to have to wind it up now.
Get this man a pint. That's fantastic.
Goodness sake.
You okay?
Yeah, okay, I've got over it.
Sure.
It's easy to say
Okay.
Liverpool. I get my tongue tied if I say the other one.
Yeah, no, good. Yeah, especially after you got the favourite position wrong. I'm
Yeah,
glad
exactly.
you didn't bring that
Poor.
into today's. What's your favourite film of all time?
Titanic. No, actually, seriously.
It does sing, you know that, don't you?
The Sound of Music. I just can't. I just love that.
You
Okay.
Julie Andrews fan? You Julie Andrews fan?
Julie Andrews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Edelweiss?
Yeah.
Can you sing a bit of Edelweiss for us?
Well, actually, Bear, you're stealing my last question. What's your go-to karaoke song?
I am the worst singer on the planet.
Well, I don't know. I
I
reckon
think we
I'll
need
give you a
proof
run
of
for your money
that, with your rendition of Edelweiss right now.
Or Waltzing Matilda, your choice. Hit
No,
it.
it tears up. But I really love British anthems. I vow to my country, Jerusalem,
Yes.
yeah, Britannia.
He's very good at singing Jerusalem. This
Yeah.
guy here,
Yeah.
morning of every
And-
test
Master
match.
in charge of cricket.
Of course, at the AFL Grand Final, Australian Rules Football Grand Final, I was able to sing "God Save the King."
I
this
know.
year.
Yeah, well done you.
Yeah,
well done you.
fantastic.
Final question. If it hadn't rained for 2 days in Manchester, what would this series score would have been?
Can we repeat the question?
Yeah, so if it hadn't rained in Manchester for
If
2
it
days,
hadn't rained,
therefore, what would the final score be in the Test series?
England would have been chasing 199, and they would have got 9 for 198.
So you did see the way that Green was batting towards the end
Yeah.
of the day when it rained heavily, didn't
it was
you?
Marsh that was impressing me. I think he's pushing on to be next captain of Australia, and he
Okay.
was going to take the game
His
away.
dad was a good player, wasn't he?
Yes.
Very good player.
Was that Morton in the...
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, very good. Right, thank you.
Stu-
That was very good.
Stu, it's been an honour having you with us. Thank you so much. It's been enlightening to hear about the other side of the pond, so to speak.
Can I just have a plug for my...
Is it a book? Have you written a book?
No.
Have you got a single, an LP coming out?
No, I do.
No, okay.
I do share a position.
Do you? You should have told me that one.
Entrusted upon me after the Lord's Taverners was established many years ago, expanded into most of the Test playing nations, and I've got the honour of being chairman of Lord's Taverners in Victoria.
Fantastic. Round of applause for that. Very
Brilliant.
worthwhile charity.
Well, that's
Thank
a
you,
very
Stu.
good plug. Thank you, Stu. Top man. Top.
It's been
Really
an honour.
good.
Thank you so much. Round of applause for Stu, everyone. Thank you.
43 now at the MCG.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Thank you.
I couldn't get 43 now at Minster level.
So where was I supposed to bat?
No, his favourite position. You go to Thailand? Oh, well, I go fucking hell, mate.
I was singing for 3 years.
Yeah, well, I can see why.
So Barnes, we have got time for a very, very soup song of our professional cricketer, if we want to get him on. Do we want to get Dave the Pro on, just for a very quick chat? Come on, Dave. Come on, Dave. Don't be shy. Let's get Dave the Pro on.
Well, that's why we're all here.
Exactly.
Oi, oi, oi.
All the way from South Africa, we have Dave the Pro, who we've already said is our major wicket taker. Hello, Dave.
Hi, John.
Welcome. We didn't wake you up to bring you out for this podcast, did we?
I woke up myself.
You work out all by yourself?
Mike,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
microphone.
Yes, sorry. Hang on. Sorry.
Good.
So say that again.
Our current
You woke
producer.
up yourself?
Yeah, woke up myself.
Okay, so a couple of months in to your, what was it, how many months? 2.5 months?
It's been a long time. When did you
2.5
get here?
months.
More, I think.
When did you come? Do you remember?
I remember.
Took about 4 years, didn't it? But we got here.
And how you find, first of all, how are you finding the weather in the UK? Are you enjoying it?
Some of it,
Yeah?
not all
bits?
of it. But the warm bits.
And this is your first cricket week that you're experiencing?
Yes, indeed.
And it looks like it's a fairly quiet start to cricket week. I guarantee it will warm up. Are you prepared and ready?
Warm up in terms of the weather, or
No, I'm not talking about the cricket or the weather. I'm talking about
that's
the
what I mean.
post-match partying that goes on.
I don't know, Joe.
Okay. So
There'll
perhaps
be
you'd
a
like to. What would be very interesting, we will do a full interview with you in a later podcast, but the current producer said we've only got an hour and a half for this one, so we're going to have to be a bit quick.
Well,
But
what if
could
we just sit
could
there,
you
you can't
just
stop it?
very briefly tell us about your journey? And I'm not talking about the 8 years that the Master in Charge of Cricket tried to get you over here, but tell us very briefly about your journey to get from South Africa over here and your cricketing life to date. very briefly?
Started playing at Spain Cricket Club, very long time ago. Probably like, 8 years old, 9 years old. But obviously playing in the street, whatever. I never joined an official club. So the schools I went to, primary school, high school, they never really had cricket. So only ever started at club, which I think younger kids would have played, like maybe All-Stars and blah, blah, blah.
How old were you then before? So did you not get coached until you went to a club? Is that right? So you just played in the street?
I wouldn't say it wasn't coached, but it was someone's dad, someone's uncle, so it wasn't like a...
Just playing on instinct and
There
what
we
they
go.
knew. What
Yeah,
they knew.
there we go.
Yeah,
So it was
okay.
just helping out.
Okay.
And then made the under-13 Western Province team, I think, primary school, last year of primary school. And then from there, just really took off every year.
And you were a left-arm spinner. Was there a time where you fancied being a left-arm quick? Were you a left-arm quick for a while?
I was actually a wicket keeper.
Ah,
Boy, you can do anything.
I didn't know that.
And he does bowl heat because he opened the bowling in a Sunday game against London, New Zealand.
Did you give it a bit
All
of,
sorts.
that? Did you move it both ways?
All sorts.
Deep hit.
Deep heat.
Not really all sorts.
And have you brought your wicket-keeping gloves over with you?
I've bought my winter gloves, that's what I did.
Absolutely. So you start off as a keeper. So when did you start thinking of bowling, or do you always bowl in the street, or did you just...
It was probably after under 11 or under 12. And my friend's dad, who was like manager, coach of the team, he's passed on now. He said, you know what, just why don't you try and have a bowl? Left arm spin this.
Because you were crap keeper.
And then I tried bowling and I just enjoyed it.
Good. Were you better than Frankie Beans?
Ooh.
And,
No.
And would you say you get the vast majority of your wickets LBW? You seem to get a lot of LBWs.
It's kind of equal, I would say.
Yeah.
Because obviously all decks don't play the same, so if it doesn't spin, it's just going to
Yeah.
slide on straight.
Yeah.
And you're bright enough to work out the decks as well, aren't you?
100%.
Yeah.
And your batting is quite spectacular to watch. You like sweep. You're a bit like Duckett. You like sweeping on both sides of the wicket, don't you?
I try.
Any kind of sweep is your kind of shot. Yeah, you like that.
He works very hard on his batting in the nets, you know, when he's got a good guy that can feed him.
Is that
Works hard.
Brilliant.
Anybody.
Anybody?
And the throw is very important, you know what I mean?
Really important.
Really important.
Yeah, because you can get quite niggly, can't you, if it's not in the right
100%.
spot, if it's too
Does
quick,
it have
not
to be?
quick.
Is
Oh,
it quite
it's a bit
choosy?
touchy. Yeah.
Touchy. Choosy.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a bit of history there, but we won't go on to that. Moving on. So we obviously we do our commentary on a Saturday, and you have a fan in South Africa, don't you, who quite often messages us in and
Cricket mom.
Yeah, it's your cricket mum.
Yeah.
Tell us very briefly about your cricket mum, because I'm sure that she probably doesn't know this is on now because it's very short notice, but I'm sure she will be tuning in. So do you have a message for
she
her?
She works in the trauma unit, doesn't she? In the
Yes,
hospital,
yes,
so she's obviously a bit of a saint,
Yeah.
a bit of an angel.
Yeah. So tell us about your cricket mum.
So she,
Her name is
Fauzia Sylvester,
Fozzie.
so she has been driving me around probably since the age of 12. And probably till up to probably last season or something.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Fozzie.
Every trial match, because my dad worked a lot, mum
Yeah.
can't drive, so
Yeah.
every trial game,
Fozzie drove you.
provincial games.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure if she drove me on my debut game for Western Province, but it's been so many years, and just the motivation behind it, you know, because
Yeah.
where we come from, where I come from, is, I won't say there's not a lot happening. There's obviously people doing good and whatever, but just the negative side of things, you know.
It's hard. It's not easy.
Gang-related
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
drugs, blah blah blah, the whole shebang.
So are
really.
you kind of the local superhero for escaping to come and play in these leafy suburbia that is Oxfordshire, or do they all envy you? Do they all wish that they were you?
Well, it's the one thing that the one tool I sort of said, you know what, if there's anything I'm going to do, I'm going to use this tool,
Yeah.
try and get basically whatever I want out of life or would want to achieve out of life.
Yeah, and you see the world, don't you? Because this is your third
100%.
visit to the UK, and you travel a bit and
I
travel a
understand
lot.
you've had slightly differing experiences as a pro over in various parts of the UK.
Yeah, obviously it's different at different clubs,
Yeah.
but
this is clearly the best one. I think it goes without saying. I mean,
World class.
I may be taking the words out of your mouth, but I mean, I presume that's what you want to say.
yes, that's what I want to say.
So you want to say thank you very much to Master in charge of cricket for getting you over here.
Keep me on my toes.
But it's been great. I mean, I don't think it's been the last time we have you on because we want to do, we want to get some proper questions prepared for you. And but it's great having you over here, and the team has certainly benefited. How many wickets is it, Barnes?
Well, I can tell you
hope
exactly.
so.
You're ready. You're ready. You probably know this, MH. You're a bit of a statter, aren't you? You've bowled 107 overs, 28 maidens. You've taken 23 wickets for 272. So you're going at 2.5 to an over.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, how many drop catches have you had off your bowlers? There's bound to be a few, because most of these guys are like Lockerbie baggage handlers on a Saturday, aren't they?
There's a gentleman who dropped one, but it wasn't an official game, but that's in the past, you know what I mean?
Oh, was that me? When I stood up to you? Was it? No? I'm on about league here. Don't drag me down. There's no need.
No.
And you've got 50 on your debut here with a bat, didn't you?
Debut, 50? Did I?
Yeah, your first game here, your first
first game at home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was quite an important innings as well. Very important.
Yeah, so I think you're second or third in the home
Brilliant
counties.
mastermind by the captain.
Yeah.
And when you go back at the end of this cricket season here, which team will you be playing for back at home?
Club.
Yeah, and will you still got an opportunity to play some further representative stuff?
Yes, I do believe that. But as I always say, at some point your career is in someone else's hand.
Yes.
So I've just got to keep doing what I need to do, and hopefully I force the door open again.
Brilliant.
So just quickly, who are 2 or 3 of the most famous guys that you've got out playing your franchise cricket?
Franchise cricket back home.
Yeah.
Chinese de Bruin. Junior Dala. And there's got to be someone I can't.
How did you get the match?
Junior Dala?
Yeah.
Off the, sliding it in, or drifting in, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Into the pad, off the pad.
Off you go. Thanks for coming.
Oh,
that's a very good point, actually. So basically this, at the club that Dave plays for back at home, he missed their presentation evening because he was here and was voted best bowler. So well done to Luke List, I must say, because he didn't get a mention on Saturday. Found out this, got sent that, he got it blown up, and there it is in a clip. We awarded it to Dave on Saturday.
Well done.
So I'm sure you'll get another.
Thanks for joining us when you join us again later on the season.
100%.
Well done, Dave the Pro, everyone.
Dave the Pro.
Brilliant.
Well done,
Thank you,
mate.
Dave
We'll have a
Pro.
proper one.
Okay. Right. So Barnes, here we go. This is the regular feature that our listener and viewer looks forward to.
I'm warming up. Ready?
There's questions for Barnes. Question number 1: Barbie or Oppenheimer?
Barbie.
Are you sure?
Because you look like Barbie yesterday.
Okay. Tutus or miniskirts?
Mini skirts, please.
What? Seriously?
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
You were in enough trouble.
I do apologise to Ms. Flory for him not choosing miniskirts. I thought it was a fantastic tutu, by the way. Crocs or plastic sandals?
Neither.
You have to choose one.
Crocs.
Okay. Right. A scenario for you. You win 2 tickets to the World Cup rugby final later this year.
Yeah.
And you have to take one of them yourself. Which one of your sons do you offer the other one to? Will or Gus?
Well, it depends on the rota. We have a bit of a rota system going. So I don't know who's next on the line, but it'll either be Will or Gus.
So you might take Will to Oxford United, and then it just so happens that Gus gets to go to the World Cup final.
Well, I'm not going to go to Oxford United. Actually,
Okay.
Will gets more tickets than me now, so yeah, probably be.
Right. The last test has already been selected, but if you were selector, Bairstow, Folkes, or Frankie Beans?
Folkes, purely and simply because we need Beans here.
Well, I know, but we'd probably get Folkes here in exchange.
No, we won't, because he'd go and play for Surrey, wouldn't he?
Okay, so being selfish, we'll choose one of the other two because we know that Frankie Beans is the best
At the minute.
in the world.
At the minute.
Did you see that catch he took yesterday?
Oh, it's ridiculous. Absolutely
England's
ridiculous.
letters, if you're watching, pay attention. New Zealand or Australia?
New Zealand.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever given either of your sons dating advice? Including, up to and including yesterday?
No, move on. I'm probably not the best man to talk to. Or Eric.
Right.
You want.
Ted Heap is bowling at you in a league game in 2023. I know this is an unlikely scenario, viewer. You play an immaculate forward defensive shot and kill the ball dead. You recklessly bend down, pick the ball up and lob it back to Ted, who immediately turns to the umpire and goes, "How is that, umpire? You're given out, but what are you given out for?"
Handling the ball, I guess.
No.
Oh. Obstruction.
Correct. Because as we know, viewer, there are only 9 ways to be out in cricket now. So, cheerio, Stu's off, everyone.
Bye,
Stu's
Stu.
off, viewer.
Bye,
Thank you,
Stu's
Stu.
off.
So, yes, only 9 ways to be out in cricket now, viewer. What? Cheers. Right. Who are the 6 leading wicket takers in Test cricket history? In order. No helping, please. At the top.
Murray Litheran.
Correct.
Shane Warne.
Correct.
Alan Cumbley.
No.
Oh.
Jimmy's got many more wickets
Jimmy.
now. Jimmy.
Cumbley.
Yes.
Brody.
Yes.
McGrath.
Correct. Round of applause. That's a very good. That is a very good effort. And now, tell me how many wickets they each got.
12.
Right. If every batsman or batter, if you live in a fish and chip shop, is out first ball, which batsman is left not out at the end? And
7.
I'll give you 2 possible answers, neither of which is 7.
I know this as well.
He's going to show his workings now, viewer. It's very important to show your workings when you're doing sums.
It's 8.
8 is one of the answers.
Yeah.
But there is another clever answer that has never been pointed. Sorry, Master in Charge of Cricket is still working it out on his fingers. Yes, number 2 is right, Listy. What's the scenario, Listy? Because he's run out. So he runs himself out, and that means that obviously...
No, but he would face the ball
he's
though,
at the
wouldn't he?
other
Because
end.
he'd face the first ball from the
Stumped
other
off
end.
wide, he'd still be at the other end.
Number 2 would face the first...
Why do you just keep on going in? And it would be number 2.
No, because number
no,
2
he's
would
still
face
at
the
the other
first
end.
ball from the second over.
So we're current producer, stick to producing.
Anyway, move on.
Right, anyway, who is your favourite actor?
Buzz Lightyear.
No, he's a character.
Well, Brad Pitt.
Okay. And who is your favourite actress?
Mrs. Pitt.
Who is? Who knows?
Favourite
Who is
actress?
Mrs. Pitt? Is there a Mrs. Pitt at the
I
moment?
don't know. I know his brother Sess.
Yeah. Right. Right, and final question. What weighs more, a pound of lead or a pound of marshmallows?
Weigh the same as a pound.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's the best he's ever done on that quiz. Well done, Barnes. Round of applause for Barnes. Round of applause for Barnes. Right. So,
AOB?
because we haven't
I have got a
prepared
really,
ourselves-
really important bit of AOB.
Okay, we'll do that when we get to AOB, but we're not there
Okay,
yet.
sorry
so
about
stop
that.
running ahead. Get the staff these days. So next podcast, which will be sometime in January 2024, we'll try. Oh, rude sign for the current producer there. We'll have anyone that's got 5 wickets or anyone that's got 100 to come in and very, very briefly, not ball by ball, but very briefly tell us about the experience and how it felt, etc., etc. So that'll be for next time. Right, we're on to next podcast. Might be when we don't. Sod off. No, not sod. 2 weeks time. Sorry. I thought
2
you were
weeks tonight.
2 weeks.
2 weeks tonight.
What date's that?
That'll be a Monday.
Is that the 8th of August? I can't do that because I'm on tour.
Okay.
Anyway, you don't need me.
No, we do. We can't.
No, right,
It's
okay.
the Bear and Barn
so
show. It's
we'll
not the
work it
Barn
out.
and Barn show.
So anyway, and the next guests,
I'm on it. I'm on it.
we'll get some guests. Right. Any other business, Barnes?
Yeah, there is actually. I lost my rag a few weeks ago when we were talking about racism in sport, right? And I just want to raise it, and I know it's a bit of a touchy subject, and I know that I have a different opinion about this, but banning a guy for 6 weeks is an absolute joke. And I just put it out there. So Oxfordshire Cricket, you should be ashamed. And that's my view,
What
not
would be-
Oxford Downs.
What would be the right punishment for you? Life?
Pretty long time.
Yeah.
Pretty long
Forever.
time. But I think 6 weeks is an absolute shambles.
And do we have? I haven't seen the press release, but was there any narrative around why they came to?
Oh,
that?
because he said he was sorry and he admitted it straight away. Okay. Well done, chap. Big balls.
Well, I think I tend to agree with that. I mean,
anyway, moving on. That's a joke. Cricket week. We're currently in cricket week.
We are in
Obviously,
cricket
we've
week.
got our centenary going on. We had a wonderful day yesterday. We had a brilliant game of 100, which I've got to say, your commentary was fantastic.
It's all gone in a blur. I don't even remember it.
Yeah, I know, it's brilliant. Really, really. What a night. That was a fantastic night for the club. And yesterday was a completely different tone, different pace, but another fantastic day. And we are so lucky with so many people behind the scenes creating this amazing cricket club.
Absolutely.
I mean, the food
Even the
yesterday.
current producer is a bit every now and then.
Every now and again, he does put a shift in.
He does put a
He
shift
leaves
in,
it all to his missus most of the time, to be honest. But
You're a very lucky man, current producer.
I just think with obviously the chairman, the head of cricket, and all the captains, but all the stuff behind the scenes, it is just unbelievable.
It is brilliant.
How lucky
This is the
we
week
are.
you want to come down, viewer, and enjoy yourself and watch a bit of cricket. I had some incredibly non-alcoholic slush puppy yesterday.
You did.
To
It
match
went
my
you a bit.
outfit. It was really rather nice.
Send you a bit giddy, didn't
It did make me a bit giddy, and I
the rocky
started
road.
to glow at night, which is
Oh
good.
my God, that rocky road was just.
I didn't have any because my body's a temple.
Anyway, but one very, very, very serious point.
Yeah.
So 5 years ago, we had this Kiwi guy rock up, who spent 6 months drunk living with cockles.
Yes.
Had previously been drunk for the 6 months the year before with Eric and Will, so he really got off to a pretty bad start. But he was actually quite good at cricket.
He got quite a lot of runs.
Yeah, he was quite good at cricket,
good
and
at-
he's a really good guy. But there's strong rumours that he had to leave the country under a bit of a cloud, running from the police.
I know some facts about that story. I have to
Would you
say.
like to?
Well, if you've ever noticed, he never runs out of kit. And there is a reason for that, viewer, and that is because he half inches most of it, or better still, he gets the sons of wealthy members of the club to buy them kit, and then he borrows it on a fairly long-term basis.
So it wasn't given back to this
Well, I don't know,
aforementioned son?
unless I was supposed to go to New Zealand to get it. I don't know, perhaps I was.
So basically, what you're saying is that he stole some cricket equipment.
All I know is that Interpol went out to New Zealand at exactly the same time as he came back over here temporarily.
Really?
Which, it may be a coincidence, I don't know, but it seems to be a bit suspicious to me. I think he's got a man on the inside at Interpol. And I explained to him the rate of interest compounded at 35% per day means he owes me £5,500
Well,
for
Bear,
that cricket bat now.
I got a surprise for you. I got you some cash. So we did a GoFundMe page for Becky, right?
Oh, did you?
So the question is, or the answer, or the words are, shove that where the sun don't shine, and can you stop ripping into pieces?
I've got a
of it?
better idea. Why don't we ask the current producer to decide which charity we should donate that to?
Or give it to him so we can do a podcast every other week.
He'll need more than that. So the charity of your choice, current producer.
Well, if I may just make
a
a quick suggestion.
Yeah.
Obviously, Will Watts is doing the London Marathon next
There he
year,
goes.
right? Okay, but current producer. So we are having a bingo night, and he's asked me to ask you if you would compare the bingo night in August.
We do have to also mention an AOB.
Blimey.
The Bear Pit.
The Bear Pit. I'm glad we've called it the Bear Pit.
At this stage, we could the creator of the Bear Pit might like to tell us exactly what he has done. We have acquired a horse box, and it has been, and that's what I mean by acquired, and it's been transformed into a fantastic green pod.
Yeah,
and it doesn't smell of horse poo.
No,
and very shortly you will be seeing presentations from that Bear Pit.
Indeed.
And I think we big vote of thanks to the Badger for the work he's put on there, Badger. We haven't quite worked out how it's going to work, but I'm quite looking forward to that. And we might even be able to do away gigs as well, current producer. So we might be able to do away matches.
He's nodding ferociously.
He's nodding ferociously.
Yeah.
But
AOB on the chat.
Oh, is there?
Oh, Martin Lee. I can see. I was trying to read it on that one down there.
I can explain that to Mark.
Go on then.
It's not going to be kind about Oxford cricket.
Sorry.
Oh, so basically, I think I know roughly this. Is this the opposition that won't play us because that means they go through? They know who they are. You know who you
Hang on
are.
a second. I don't know anything about this. Please tell me, Barnes, about the controversy that I don't know anything about.
So obviously all the teams in our group, Brackley had a tie with Banbury.
Okay.
And then Banbury came in the following week and beat us by a run or whatever. So we currently sit below Brackley in the league, in that table. And we've offered them 3 or 4 different dates and 2 or 3 different venues to play the game, because if we beat them, then we would go above them. Therefore, we go
day out at Wormsley.
We go out day out at Wormsley. But sadly, Brackley have got COVID that week. Somebody else is getting married. Yeah, so they're basically...
Come on, Brackley, you're better than that.
I thought that. Yeah, but then our 2s have still got to play them, so let's not stir the pot too much.
Oh, a bit late.
Anyway, so hopefully...
Oops. I only ever open my mouth to exchange feet. You know that, Barnes.
Hopefully the cricket gods will come through, but if they don't, they don't. But there you go, that's the story.
Well, come on, you've got to play cricket to see who gets to the final. That's how it works.
I would have thought so. But if it's that important to them, it's that important to them.
Okay.
Let's not finish on a dour
Let's not
point.
finish on a downer. But it's been a great show. Thank you for your input, Barnes.
No, brilliant.
As always.
It's always
thank you,
a pleasure.
Current producer, for allowing us to perform again.
Just want to say, we can probably buy these mugs as well. They're about 18 quid, which is a
they're
bit
nice.
spenny,
They're very
but
nice,
there
those
you go.
mugs. They're great for tea, apparently.
Yeah, look, they've got a sheet that side.
Yeah, that's good.
And as you drink it, it's got a picture of Paul Fowler in the bottom. It's fantastic.
So you'll be able to see us performing again on Saturday in the league game.
Yes, not for
Weather
the bear.
permitting.
We're in the Bear Pit.
Yeah, in the Bear Pit, making our possibly the debut in the Bear Pit. We're not presenting on television on YouTube on Friday, but we are doing comms, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, that'll be great. So until then, it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him.
Good night. Bye.